Over a decade of experience as an athletics director in the Southeastern Conference, he just finished his third year at Texas A&M. We have Eric Hyman on with us, and thanks for taking the time during your summer.
Well, thank you. The pleasure is mine.
It's transition time from one athletic and academic season to the next. That's what the summer always represents. But what you just finished in 2014 and 15, the Aggies won the second most Southeastern Conference championship trophies. Only Florida had more. Just year three in this league, that's pretty incredible what this school has been able to accomplish.
I think it's terrific, and I think it's a tremendous reflection on our student athletes. I think it's a reflection on our coaching staff and just the commitment that Texas A&M has made towards their athletic program. And they would like us to have a nationally caliber athletic program and battle for championships. And I think this past year has resulted in that and reflected what their expectations are.
And like I said when we started, over a decade in the Southeastern Conference with South Carolina and now Texas A&M, do you still marvel at the difficulty and somewhat of the dominance of this league? And I'm talking about really in all sports.
I agree with you. It's like a heavy boxing match, a 12-round boxing match, and it's just no matter what the sport is. And I think the strength of this league is really the top of a lot of conferences in this country are pretty competitive, but the strength of the league is in the middle and the lower levels programs. Because, for example, if you look at like Vanderbilt last year won the national championship in baseball, and I think they finished 6th.
Yeah.
And so if you look across the board, it is very, very difficult to compete in this league on a consistent basis. But if you want to be the best, you play the best. And that's what we're doing, and that resonates with recruits, and that's why our programs are exceeding on such a high level, and it's a lot to do with the SEC and being able to sell the SEC to our potential recruits and their families and just to our fan base.
And we're here on the day Texas A&M takes over the SEC Network. What do you think this network has done in year one for the Aggies, yes, but all schools in this conference?
I don't think there's any question is that prior to the SEC at Texas A&M, we were a very well thought of institution from a regional standpoint. Now, academically, we're well thought of around the country, but what this has done is taken us from a state branding, regional branding, to a national brand. And if you know, because when you walk anywhere, any nook and cranny around the country, and you have Texas A&M paraphernalia, people will talk to you, and they're familiar with the Aggies, and they're familiar because of being in the SEC and competing on such a high level. It's done wonders. It's wonders for us. And as an institution, we've got a lot of wonderful things that are taking place from an academic standpoint. And what this has allowed us is to be able to springboard to access to different parts of the country that we really haven't had access before. So everybody's beginning to find out what a wonderful institution Texas A&M is, not only from a competitive standpoint, but from an academic standpoint.
And it's something that's always been important with you, the term student athlete. You want an emphasis on that word student. It's not just about being the athlete when you attend a university. What are ways across the country and here at Texas A&M that we can make sure we don't leave that student part of it behind?
I think that's one of the most critical things that we do in our business. If you take the educational component out of what we do, then why would we not be a minor league or professional league? And it's critical. And if you look, the statistics are like 99.6% of people that participate in college athletics do not go to the pros. And so even though the pros get a lot of visibility, which is fine, but in reality there is life after sports. And you know, your physical tools will take you so far in life, but it's your mind will take you for the rest of the time. So it's imperative that our young people understand that. And you know, there's a saying that everybody wants a degree, but not everybody wants to do the homework to get to the degree and do the necessary things. But what our challenge is to make sure that we don't forget that educational component of what we do. And it's okay to have a plan A and to be a professional athlete. That's fine, but you better have plan B, and that's to receive your education. So what we try to do here is give our young people the tools so they can be successful in the classroom, so they can be successful after they leave Texas A&M, is to give them the opportunities to be able to be very diversified and have options when they leave here.
And you put this belief to work as far as those tools are concerned. It's always been interesting since your time at Texas A&M began. We've seen you introduce seminars and events that are big for student athletes here off the field of play. And can you kind of take us through these? Those that are Aggies are certainly aware of etiquette dinners you have, seminars on how to interview for a job when your time as an athlete is done. But can you kind of take us through these events that are so helpful to student athletes at this university?
Well, there's no question, and as I said this earlier, there is life after sports. And so we want to give our young people the tools that they can be successful. Whereas a student athlete, they're competing against other student athletes for the starting position or for all conference or whatever, but that's only temporary. And when they leave here, they're going to be competing with other people for jobs. And so we teach them how to interview, and we teach them how to write a resume. We teach them even to the extreme of teaching them how to tie a tie. We took all of our male student athletes and we're teaching them how to tie a tie, and we had some little fun, so we had a tie-tying contest. It's to have a little fun, but the fact of the matter is so they can carry some of the things that they learn for the rest of their life, and not only from a tie, but how to eat properly, how to dress properly, and to consequences for your actions. That there is a choice you have to make in everything you do, so keep in mind that in the end, the choice you make makes you, is to have our student athletes understand that the choices they make are making them, no matter what it is. And so it's to give them the tools where they can be successful, a wide cross-section of bringing people in here to teach them about social media, teaching them how to interview. And we want to do a tremendous amount of these kind of things to help our student athletes so they can be successful.
And academics is always important, and particularly now with the way it can actually affect your team on the field. The APR was introduced, and if you don't do well there, you're going to lose scholarships and things like that. Well, Billy Kennedy, the men's basketball coach, arrived. They were in a tough situation academically, and he's done well there. Kevin Sumlin just reported great success with his football team as far as academics are concerned, but it's across the board here at Texas A&M. It's all sports that are doing well.
Well, and it is, and we've moved up our GPA for the entire athletic department to a 2.9. Our goal is to have a 3.0, is to have the athletic department have a 3.0. Kevin's done a wonderful job with our football student athletes. Our APR is exceptional. To compete on the high level we do competitively, and to compete in the classroom the way we do is, and those two are not mutually exclusive, and you have to do both of them together to see what Billy has really changed the culture in men's basketball, and we've really turned the corner from an academic standpoint, really across the board on all of our teams. I'm very proud of how they succeed and the emphasis and the importance of academics, and we can't lose sight of that. When we lose sight of that, then the dynamics of our professions change dramatically, and I don't think they change in a positive way.
And finally, like we mentioned, year 3, you just completed that at Texas A&M. I mean, fall camp for football and soccer and volleyball, that's around the corner. That's going to get going in August. I mean, these transition times from one season to another, they blur together now. It's just go on to the next. But if you think of 15 and 16 athletically and academic, and even beyond, what do you look forward to at Texas A&M?
Well, I think one of the most important things is Kyle Field, and the renovation of Kyle Field, and having Kyle Field ready for the Ball State game. I think I'm a little biased or prejudiced, but I think when it's all said and done, people will tell you that it's the best stadium in the country. And I think we all can be very proud of that. And then our football team competing, I think Coach Chavis, and from a football standpoint, what an impact he'll have on our defense. You look at Coach Kennedy and what the basketball program has, and our women's soccer team and the success going to the Final Four last year, all the way across the board, our team's competing on such a high level, and there is no downtime anymore. And when people start talking about football, they can't wait for football to be here. I say, please, it'll get here soon enough. Let's give us a chance to sort of catch our second breath athletically before we start jumping on the football. And the football will be here in the near future. So we have a lot going on athletically. There is no just so downtime like there used to be years and years ago. You transition from one season to the other. But I think the Aggies can be very excited and optimistic and about this upcoming year. Look all the way across the board, our women's basketball team. Our teams are going to compete on a high level, and I think they can be very proud of them, not only on the field of competition, but in the classroom.
Well, with that minimal downtime this summer, any plans to get away from athletics real quick?
Yeah, I would like to get away. I'm a cyclist. I'm a road bike. And so I'm hoping to get away for about 5 or 6 days and ride my bike every day. Now, Other people may define that differently as far as downtime, but that's my downtime. That's what I enjoy doing.
Still on the move, on the bike.
On the move, on the move. That's exactly right.
Well, we appreciate your time and all the best to the Aggies as you move into August in that 15-16 athletic and academic year.
Thank you, Will.
That's Eric Hyman. Texas A&M is taking over the SEC Network, and we've got more to come on the other side of the break.